Hello everybody, welcome to our first week of BearFit on demand. I'm your coach, Johnny Vitatoe, and I'll be taking you through the first workout. It's a strength and endurance workout. So for this class, you'll need, what I've brought is 2 20-pound kettlebells and 1 10-pound dumbbell. Body weight, I have some water nearby. I'll be checking the clock for our timed exercises throughout the workout, so let's get started. Okay, so we're gonna get started with a little warm up, just basic body weight, rhythmic cardio. We're gonna start by jogging in place, nice and light and easy. Each one of these movements we'll do for about 20 seconds. We'll go through this 2 times. And as I'm jogging in place and doing these rhythmic movements, I'm thinking about my left arm and my right leg being in a relationship, and my right arm and left leg also being in a relationship together. So now we're gonna go jumping jacks, nice and light on the knees, big arms all the way up as we try to get some blood flow to our working muscle. And the sooner I can get a sweat going, the better. Life is a little bit easier once I have a sweat going. Here, in 3, 2, 1, we're going to switch to our skier here. So I've got a little jump and switch with my legs. Arms are nice and long, nice and light on my knees, staying on the balls of my feet. We're gonna go for 3 more seconds. And we're gonna go right into a high knee. So trying to bring those knees up to our hip height. Nice and quick off the ground. Still pumping my arms throughout this movement as I peak to our timer. We'll go for 5 more seconds here. Okay, and we're going to transition to a butt kick. I'm trying to bring my heels to my glutes if I can. Still pumping those arms. We're gonna stay here for another 8 seconds. 3, 2, 1. We're gonna go lateral now. A little lateral bounce left and right. Pushing off the edge of my feet. Still pumping my arms. We'll go 10 seconds, and then we'll transition this into a Heisman here in a few seconds. We'll see if I have any rhythm. Okay, so I'm going to step, step, plant, step, step, plant, and then back and forth. Swinging my arms, pausing on the outside of my foot here, hinging my hips, and bracing as I change direction. We'll go 5 more seconds. Okay, and we're gonna go mummy kick. So we're gonna crisscross our hands at shoulder height, tapping our toes, and we're gonna run that back here in about 10 seconds. I think I'm starting to sweat already. 5 more seconds. Okay, from the top, back to our jog. Now on this next round, we can go a little harder since we should be starting to warm up here. And we're just jogging. I'm trying to pick my knees up a little higher than the first round. We'll go 5 seconds. Okay, into our jack, jumping jack. Focus on your breathing. Stay light on your feet. We're gonna stay here for another 10 seconds. And I'm officially sweating now. Okay, right into our skier. A little hop and switch. Arms nice and long. Find your rhythm and try to stay in your rhythm. We'll stay here for 8 more seconds. And we're gonna move on to that high knee momentarily. Okay, here we go. Back to our high knee. Picking those knees up nice and high. Landed on the ball of my foot. Trying to spend as little time on the ground as I can. We're gonna stay here for 10 more seconds. And we're gonna go butt kick after this. Here we go, right into our butt kick. Heels to glutes. Don't forget to swing those arms. We're almost finished with this warm up. Give me 5 more seconds here. Okay, into our laterals, side to side bounce. Push it on the outside of my feet. Stay light and on the balls of my feet. We've got 2 more moves. 5 more seconds here. Okay, right into our Heisman. It's kind of like a grapevine and then a plant. I'm swinging my arms. We're gonna stay here for 10 more seconds. Almost finished. We're gonna finish off with mummy kicks. All right, right into mummy kicks. Last movement of this warm up. Stay here for 10 more seconds. 5. All right, relax. Get some water. Okay, so for this first circuit, this first round, we're gonna need a light dumbbell, something with some weight. I've got a 10-pound dumbbell, and we're gonna do a pull-up squat. So for this squat, we're gonna be heel shoulder width apart, toes pointed forward or somewhat out. And as I go down, I'm gonna push this weight away from my body. So I'm gonna go hips back, knees out, weight's away from my body. On the way up, weight is being pulled back into my body. And we're gonna do this for 30 seconds. So we're gonna go ahead and start here, go at your own pace. Okay, nice and controlled, trying to prime that squat. Think about hips back, knees out. Your heel should be flat on the ground, okay? You should be able to wiggle your toes at the bottom of your squat. I'm going full depth, so I'm looking for, if you're able to do it, your hip crease to be below your kneecap. All right, we've got 1 more rep here. All right, and we can lose the weight. And we're gonna go, you can use a lighter weight, I'm gonna go no weight. You can do that same pull lift style, but we're gonna do a side lunge, okay? And we're just gonna alternate legs. So I'm reaching my hips back, all right? And then I'm just shuffling over, okay? Hips back. I'm reaching my hands out as a counterbalance, sort of like the weight we just had. We're gonna go here for 10 more seconds. So Hip back, staying on the entirety of my foot. One more. Okay, next up, if you have a mat, grab it. We're gonna grab one of our weights here. We're gonna be in a high plank position. You can modify this by being on the tops of your knees, like you would for a modified push-up. We're gonna have our hands directly underneath our shoulders. My hand's gonna be internally rotated a bit. We're gonna go 30 seconds here of a high plank, and we're gonna add some movement, switching this dumbbell back and forth on the outside of our arm, and then the opposite hand grabbing that dumbbell. So try and stay nice and tight in your trunk if you can. Try not to sway too much. Let's go 5 more seconds. One more rep. Okay. And relax. Next up, we're gonna do a kneeling overhead press. You can do this standing as well, but since we're already down here, I'm laying my hips on the back of my feet. My toes are touching the ground. I have 2 kettlebells here. And the idea for this press is going to be keeping these kettlebells directly over my shoulders, controlling the movement, okay? We're going for 30 seconds. I'm staying nice and tight in my trunk. I'm kind of trying to shrug at the top of my press. Trying to bring that bicep to my ear if I can. Not letting these kettlebells stray away from my shoulders. Just thinking directly over my shoulders the whole time. Nice and controlled here on the upward and downward. Let's go 9 more seconds. 2 more reps. 1, 2, okay, and relax. Okay, so for round 2, back up on our feet, we're going polyp squat again. Feet shoulder width apart. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. We're just going nice, well executed squats, full depth. Weight is going to be away from my body on the way down, toward my body on the way up. My femur bone and my foot angle should match, okay? Full range of motion. Pushing that weight away. Let's go, last rep here. All right, we can drop our weight and then back to our side lunge with a little shuffle in between. I'm reaching my hands out as a counterbalance and we're in it here. We have become this one. So if you haven't joined in, feel free to join in at this point. Sitting those hips back, should be able to wiggle my toes at the bottom of this movement. This is not a race, looking for good quality movements here. So 2 more reps. 1 and 2, good. Okay, next up we're gonna be back on our mat here. Grab a weight, high plank position, or modified plank, modified high plank position. And here we go in 3, 2, 1. And I'm reaching for that weight. Back and forth. Keeping a nice tight trunk. Trying to keep my hips from piking up too much. Focus on my breathing and allowing time to pass here. Couple more reps, we're getting close. Let's go one more. All right, and relax. Now we're gonna be back on our knees here for our presses. So grab your weights, curl them up, and we're just gonna go press overhead. Nice controlled presses. Big shrug at the top and join on in whenever you're ready. Think about bringing those biceps to your ears. Tighten your core. Big push. Shoulders starting to burn a little bit. 8 seconds here. 5, 2, 1, rest. Okay, here we go for round 3 of our pot lift squats. We're gonna start here in 3, 2, 1. And hips back, weight away from you. The weight is gonna serve as a counterbalance for your squat, especially if you have any issues with squatting and feeling the sensation of falling backwards. This is gonna help that a lot. I'm just trying to find a groove here in my squat where my feet are flat on the ground, my hips are going back. I'm going full depth. Let's do 2 more reps. Last one. All right, we can put our weight down. Back to our side lunge and go. So hips back. Trying to kind of bring that shin forward without being on my toes. And this shouldn't be incredibly difficult, but you might feel a little burn in your glutes. Remember, I'm using my hands as a counterbalance so I can sit back and get a little bit of depth. Let's do 2 more reps. That's 1 and 2. Okay, and relax. We're gonna go back down on our mat. We'll grab our weight here. Same idea as the other 2 rounds. Modify as needed if you're someone that's been fatiguing a little bit on this high plank. Modify your high plank. So we're gonna get started here in 3, 2, 1. We're just passing this dumbbell back and forth, trying to keep my hands directly under my shoulders if I can. Trying not to sway too much or have my hips pike up. A little bit of shake in the shoulders is okay. And we're getting close here. We got 10 seconds left. 5, 3, 2, 1. Okay, so knees on the ground. Grabbing my kettlebells. Nice controlled kneeled kettlebell press or dumbbell press. And go. So big press overhead. Control the downward. Make sure that weight's directly over your shoulders. Staying tight in our trunk. Reaching for the ceiling. Big push. Shoulders might be burning a little bit. You've got 10 seconds left. Control the reps. 5, 3, 2, 1. Relax. All right, next up, I'm gonna grab a kettlebell, but you can also use a dumbbell, and we're gonna do single side moves. So one side for 20 seconds, the other side for 20 seconds. We're gonna go through 4 moves, and then we'll take a rest. So I'm gonna grab this kettlebell, elbow locked. I'm gonna use my hips for this movement. So my feet are gonna be shoulder width or a little bit wider than shoulder width. And I'm going to reach this kettlebell back and throw my hips forward. Here, we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. So I'm throwing my hips forward. I want this kettlebell to stay close to my legs. I don't want it going too far close to my feet. And I'm reaching my chest toward the ground. My back's nice and stiff here. Throwing those hips. I want this kettlebell to end sort of shoulder height. Let's switch hands and go. So hips, throwing these hips violently, finding a rhythm, using the momentum of my hips, and my arms just kind of like a transfer of power into the kettlebell. We've got 8 seconds left here. 5, 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm gonna keep this kettlebell at shoulder height here. My feet are already in place, and we're gonna go kettlebell squat. We're just gonna squat down and squat back up, then we'll switch hands, okay? So here we go, in 3, 2, 1. I can use this opposite hand as kind of a counterbalance if you don't know what to do with your opposite hand. Kind of stick it out there. My hips are going back, my knees are out, that pull-up squat. Should have primed us for this move. We've got about 7 seconds left in this, on this side at least. 3, 2, 1, switch sides and go. All the way down with my squat, trying to fight the urge to lean to the kettlebell side. We're in it here, 10 seconds left. 5 seconds left. 3, 2, 1. All right, I'm gonna stand back up all the way. This one's gonna slow things down a little bit and isolate our bicep and our shoulder. We're just gonna go curl here to press and then back down and down again, okay? So let's go ahead and start here in 3, 2, 1. Curl up, big press, down, control the downward, okay? So it's not nice control here. This isn't a cardio move. This is more of a sculpting move, all right? Control the downward. We've got 4 seconds, 2, 1, switch hands, curl up, rotate your arm, press it overhead, control the movement. I'm looking for about 4 to 5 seconds per rep. Just so you can control this weight. And relax. Okay, next up, we're going to keep our hand. We're gonna keep this kettlebell in hand. We're gonna take 1 foot off the ground. I'm gonna do a slight bend in the foot that's still on the ground. And I'm going to reach this back foot back and try to get this kettlebell to my toe, okay? So nice and controlled. We're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. You should feel a nice stretch in your hamstring. Try to focus on something on the ground that isn't moving so you don't tip over. We've got 10 seconds here. Let's see if we can get 2 more reps. 1 more rep here. Okay, good. Switch sides and go. Oh, okay, there it is. Find your balance. If you can keep that off foot off the ground the whole time, that's the goal. But if you need to touch it on the ground, feel free to do it. 1 more rep here. Okay, all right. Okay, so from the top, we're gonna grab our kettlebell, pick a hand, and we're gonna swing this thing here, okay? Ready, and go. So I'm reaching this kettlebell back, and I'm extending my hips violently forward, and I should feel momentum from my hips, through my back, into my hand, and into the kettlebell. We've got about 8 seconds left on this hand. Just trying to get reps in here. 5, 3, and switch arms, and go. So this is one where you can get a bunch of reps in if you can. I'm not as worried about control necessarily and how slow you move. Just get some reps out. Whip those hips forward. We've only got about 5 seconds left. 2, 1. Okay, let's have this kettlebell on our shoulder. We're already in our squat stance. And let's go with the squat. Offhand kind of out as a balance or on your hip, wherever feels natural for you. I'm actively pulling my knees out of the way when I squat down so I can reach full depth. We're getting close to switching hands here. One more rep and switch arms and go. So offhand is a balance, staying tight in my trunk. Feel the tension in your trunk and legs here. Pull my knees out of the way. We've got 5 seconds. One more rep. Good, okay, we're standing all the way nice and tall. We're gonna go back to our curl and press. Ready, and go. I'm curling, rotate, push, okay? And control the downward. Curl, rotate, push. Trying to keep that bicep close to my ear. We've got just a few seconds left here. And let's go ahead and switch arms. So curl, rotate, press, control the downward. Feel the tension in the downward portion of the movement. We're getting close to the end of this exercise. Let's go one more. Good, okay, now we're on to our Romanian deadlift. So finding a balance here. This is gonna require some control. Focus on that back leg, reaching back and up. Ready, and go. This may be easier if you're at home and you can take your shoes off. That'll make this exercise a bit easier to control. We've only got a few more seconds on this side. See if we can get one more rep in. Good, okay. Now we're gonna switch hands and get right into it. Ready, and go. Control here, find your balance. Reach back with that off foot. Feel the stretch in your hamstring. Let's go. Another rep here. Let's go one more bonus rep. And relax. So here we go, round 3 of our single arm kettlebell swings, squats, curls, and RDLs. Let's grab our kettlebell and we're gonna start swinging here in 3, 2, 1. I'm just throwing these hips, letting this kettlebell kind of fly from my hips to my shoulder. I'm not doing a front raise here. I'm just throwing these hips. Nice and quick, trying to get as many reps in as I can. We have about 8 seconds left on this side. 3, 2, 1, and switch hands and go. Reaching those hips back. It's okay to have your chest face the ground. Just make sure your lower back's nice and tight and extended. We got 5 seconds here. Good, okay, and we're gonna pop this kettlebell on our shoulder. Feet shoulder width apart. I'm a toes out squatter, but if you're more toes forward, that's fine. And we're gonna get right into it and go. So I'm resting this kettlebell on like the meat of my deltoid and upper arm. So it's not a lot of stress on my hand. And we're just getting reps in all the way down. We got 5 more seconds on this side. Good, and switch hands and go. Making sure I'm pulling my knees out of the way. The first thing to go will be your knees caving in. So make sure those knees stay out. We've only got a few more seconds here, 5 seconds. Last rep. Good, okay, now we're gonna drop this kettlebell, go back to our curl to press. Here we go, and go. Nice control with our curl, and especially the downward portion. Basic curl, rotate, press overhead. Go at your own pace. This one's not a race. We got 5 seconds. Let's go one more rep. Okay, and switch hands and go. Curl, rotate, press. Nice control, isolated movement here. We've got 10 seconds on this side. Then we'll finish with our RDLs. We got 5 seconds. Let's do one more rep, a little bonus rep. Big curl, big push. All right, now let's let this kettlebell hang. Pick a leg, lift the other leg off the ground, find your balance, and here we go. So, find that balance. Hard to do this quickly. Feel the stretch in the working hamstring. Reach that back leg, nice and high if you can. Let's go one more rep. Okay, and switch. And here we go, last bit of this round. Trying to get that kettlebell to my foot. Reaching that off leg back nice and high. That's what's giving me my balance. We've got about 8 seconds left. Let's do one last rep here. All right, and relax. So here we go, last round here, we're gonna start with the squat mobilizer. You can do this with or without weight. The idea is to keep your eyes at the same level throughout this exercise. And essentially, I'm gonna plant my foot, and then go knee down, continuously, okay? I'm gonna add this weight, and we're gonna go for 30 seconds here. So I'm gonna hold this weight close to my body, and we're gonna squat mobilize here in 3, 2, 1. I'm going foot, knee, nice and controlled. Trying to build some stability in the bottom of my squat. I should be able to sit here at the bottom of my squat rather comfortably. All right. Foot, knee, heels flat on the ground the whole time. We've got 10 seconds left. So let's finish it out here. We've done a lot of squats already. 5 seconds. Let's do one more here. Foot. All right. Okay, next up, we're just gonna go classic low plank. You can modify this plank in the same way you would with a push-up, and that you can be on the tops of your knees. So I'll go this way. Okay, so I'm gonna go elbows and toes on this one. I'm going to be trying to be in a nice straight line here, like so. Trying to keep my body flat. We're gonna go for 30 seconds, and we're gonna start in 3, 2, 1. So I'm finding my happy place here. Trying not to let my hips drop too much or get too high. A little bit of shake is healthy, and just focus on your breathing. Find your happy place. Think happy thoughts. We're almost finished here. We've got 8 seconds left. Keep holding. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay. We're gonna pick a side. We're gonna go side plank for 30 seconds. You can modify this side plank by bridging off of your hip and being on your knee instead of your foot. But I'm gonna stack my feet, elbow underneath. Offhand's gonna be kind of like a balance up in the air. And we're gonna go for 30 in 3, 2, 1, hips up. This will be the hardest of the 3 planks, more than likely, for most of us. And we're just gonna focus on staying nice and stiff here in this plank position. A little bit of shake is okay. Hips nice and high. We've got 10 seconds. Keep breathing. 5, 3, 2, 1, and rest. I'm gonna switch sides. And we're gonna do that same thing on the other side for 30 seconds. Modify as needed. Here we go in 3, 2, 1. Hips up. Last round of planks. And then we're gonna flutter for a bit. And then we'll stretch and be finished. Keeping those hips nice and high. Finding your balance. Fighting the urge to quit. We're almost finished here. We're getting close. Time is passing. We've got like 8 seconds left. And 5, 3, 2, 1. Rest. Okay. So our next move is gonna be a flutter kick. We're gonna lay flat on our back here. We're gonna try and keep our lower back flat on the ground. You can lift your head or keep it on the ground. If you feel strain in your neck, I'll just keep it on the ground. You can put your hands or fists under your butt here. And we're gonna flutter our feet like so. You can make things easier by fluttering higher or by bending the knee and tapping here. We're gonna go for 30 seconds. Ready, and go. We're fluttering. Last move of the day. The more parallel your legs are with the ground, the more difficult this move is. We're just trying to finish out strong here. We're pretty much at the end here. We're halfway through. Keep fluttering. We're gonna finish it out. We've got 10 seconds left. Almost there. 5, 3, 2, 1. Rest. All right, so we're gonna finish up with some stretching here. We're gonna start with a hip flexor stretch, and we're going to bring that front foot out, like so, and we're just going to be nice and proud chested in this hip flexor stretch. I'm a little tight in my shoulder, so we'll do some shoulder dexterity work here. I've just got hands behind my back, trying to open up my chest a little bit, and I wanna feel a stretch on this hip with the down knee. I should feel a nice stretch in my hip flexor. A lot of us spend a lot of time sitting, myself included. So my hips get quite tight. And we're gonna sink, I want you to slowly sink into this hip flexor stretch. And then eventually I want us to take both our hands down inside the front foot into what is called a groiner. And if you can get your elbows to the ground, feel free to do so. We're just gonna stay here and breathe, feel the stretch. Do your best not to hold your breath. Try to release some tension. And I would suggest spending more time on these stretches than are shown in this video. Okay, so we'll push back. We're gonna switch legs, switch front feet, same idea. I'm gonna go ahead and sink into this slowly. Hands behind my shoulder, hands behind my back here, chest nice and proud. I'm feeling the stretch in my right hip flexor. And I want to take both these hands down into a groiner stretch. Again, if you can get your elbows or one elbow on the ground, go for it. And we're just trying to drive this hip toward the ground. Okay, we're going to get back into a super deep squat. Elbows inside of our knees, pushing our knees out. And we're just gonna hang out here at the very bottom of our squat. This will continue to help develop the strength in the bottom of our squat. I'm actively pushing my knees out and just hanging out here. We'll hang out here for 5 more seconds, then we'll stand up. Okay, so we're gonna stand up and get nice and wide in our feet. And we're just gonna reach down toward the ground. I'm gonna let my head hang. If you can touch the ground, go for it. I'm just gonna feel the stretch in my hamstrings and in my groin. I'm pushing my hips back. Let's walk our hands over to our left side. If you're more flexible than me, you can grab your foot with both hands or your ankle or leg. And then we'll switch to the other side. Continue to breathe. Do your best not to hold your breath. Back to the middle. We'll shuffle our feet in to about hip width. I'm gonna have a slight bend in my knee. And I'm gonna reach over to my feet. If you can touch your toes, go for it. I'm gonna feel a stretch in my posterior chain, my lower back and my hamstrings. I'm gonna continue to breathe. Okay, and we'll tuck our chin and slowly stand up. Okay, if you have a band, rubber band that's nice and long, or a broom that's long enough for you to use in this movement here, we're gonna do some pass-throughs. So I want you to lock your elbows, get nice and wide on a broomstick or something where you can really spread your hands out so you feel comfortable pulling this either band or broom behind your back. And we're just gonna go pass through all the way back, all the way forward. This is something that I do before and after a lot of exercise bouts where I'm gonna need my shoulders to be loose and if I need my shoulders to be active in the workout. So we'll go 3 more pass-throughs. Now if you're doing this and you feel really tight at this point, you can just hold it here and you don't need to go all the way through. You can come back and then try and reach a little bit deeper and feel the stretch. We'll go last one. All right. All right, so that's it for our first workout in this BearFit On Demand series. Please join me next week where we take it up a notch and we switch things around a bit, and I look forward to seeing you then.